Hey guys, and welcome back to our podcast.
Hey, how you doing?
That's my intro. Today we're going to talk about our fitness and our journey and how we manage it as a couple. We also both have the same trainer, so it's pretty interesting, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Really excited to get on to our second episode with my beautiful Melitza Yurdosevic. We've got a special guest coming on next week as well, which we're really excited. Things are really starting to roll for us, actually. We put some effort in and we're seeing the universe kind of open up over the past week. So that's
Yeah.
really exciting. It's awesome to see. So stay tuned for the whole episode to see who our person is. But yeah, really excited to talk about our fitness journey, our mindfulness journey,
Mm.
kind of where it's all come from.
How we do it
Maybe
together.
some funny stories in between.
And also, if you listened to our last episode, thank you so much. And don't forget to tune in again to this
Weapons.
one.
Weapons. We had a massive surprise actually.
Yeah, I thought like no one would listen to us, but we actually had quite a few people listen.
Yeah,
So
so big thank you.
thank
Actually,
you.
we'll tell you the analytics. For we reached. I'm not going to say that number, but we reached a really good amount of people, and this is from the analytics in Spotify. We actually had 19 total listens for our first episode. Um, I may have expected like five, and
I
for three of
expected
them,
like two people.
or three of them to be mine or something. But yeah, 19 full listens. So thank you if you were one of
Yeah,
those people. We've
much
found
love.
out who a few of you were, but yeah, honestly, massive surprise. And it just goes to show you put effort into things
Mm.
and you gain reward. And that's all we want is to try and help people, talk to people about who we are, and shed a new light on our family and things. So
Shit, a new light.
shed a new light,
Guys,
shitting
maybe that should be
lights.
our podcast name because we still haven't got one really. Shit,
Okay,
a
we've
new
got a few.
light.
We've got a few. But again, we'll come up with that at the end. We're going to shoot out three more names. But we will list the name by the end of this. Actually, that's the goal.
Yes, that's the goal.
All right. Let's get into let's talk about mine first. Uh,
Yeah.
that way it leads into yours as well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Let's
So
go.
so my whole fitness journey, where it kind of popped off, is actually it was kind of actually a byproduct of falling into working in the
Mm.
industry when I first moved to Australia from New Zealand. Had tried gyms every now and again before then, and just nearly never really found the fit. So for me, actually, what happened is I moved over here and I did a box fit class with my mum. With mum, yeah, killing it. It was at Go Health Clubs Bentley, here in Australia, Queensland, and what a club! It had a great atmosphere about it, great community and things like that. So I get this call, maybe a week later, because I went on a free pass. Of course, I ain't paying for that shit. Um, and I then got a role as a membership consultant because they tried to sell me a membership, and then I had like some sales background, so I was like, "Oh, you sound like a really good salesman." Actually, can't join the gym because I don't have a job. So, do you guys have any jobs going? So,
Nice.
actually went into the interview with the impression that I wanted to work on my health and fitness, and as a byproduct, actually got a job there and started selling memberships as I was working on my own health and fitness journey. So I was a pludgy wee man, little chubber, and I always held that kind of resentment for my body and things. And started working on it, started chipping away. My manager at the time was the man himself, Simon Brown. He was the best worker that ever existed in Go Health Group, and then for when Good Life took over. Yeah, if you know Good Life and the ins and outs of Go Health, you'll definitely know Simon Brown. So big ups to you, bro. Helped change my life for the better in terms of fitness. Fast forward like 3 or 4 years, in between this we met. I went
Yeah.
back into the fitness game after working in car sales and things, and I still stayed fairly consistent in my gym routine and things, but I never really took it too seriously until my second time working in the industry. Uh, so this was Go Health Springwood, which then while I was working there was purchased by Good Life. And that's when things really turned on. I understood calories, where to count them,
Mm.
and I got in probably my fittest condition that I had been in my life. Was holding a nice 80 kgs, was strong, and just felt really good. And things were starting to turn around in my life in terms of leadership and things in those types of roles.
And
Uh,
that's when I rolled into your life.
yeah, that's it. Well, as friends, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. From there, continued on, and ended up working at Good Life Morningside, and I worked with a bunch of weapons who were definitely hard out into their training, and I started training really specifically with my good friend Joe. Bro, if you're listening, big shout out to you. Another massive help in my fitness, and I got to a really consistent rate. Understood calories, was still living quite frivolously, and was happy with where I was. And that's when we met, and things kind
my
of
bad.
worked in, which was really cool. And yeah, we met, and you kicked off yours, but like, yeah, for me, I had a big dropout, and I ended up putting on a lot of weight throughout COVID and things. So we'll get to how that was fixed and what we did for each other, but let's hear about
Yeah.
how you stepped into everything.
So I think my first gym I kind of joined was Good Life Browns Plains, and I joined just to go do cardio, because when I was joining the gym and things like that, we were doing, females weren't really lifting weight. We were cardio bunnies, I would say. So cardio.
Was it, sorry to interrupt, was it Go Health or Good Life then when you joined the
It
one
was
in
Go
Brownsy?
Health. Go Health. Yeah. So that was way, way, way back then. I drove a Vespa to the gym. Okay, guys, like a boom, boom, like with a little helmet, my helmet on the little thing. But I quite enjoyed it, and then I saw other people lifting weights and stuff, and I started to do that. And at the time, I was in a toxic situation where I just didn't really go, and the only time I would be able to go is if they came with me. So I kind of dropped out of all of that, didn't look after myself, kind of was on like a fit kick here, there, everywhere, never was consistent, didn't find any interest in it anymore. I always was quite small, I guess. I never really put on heaps of weight. And then I moved to Sydney, and when I was moving to Sydney, I put on a little bit of weight just with the stress of moving and all of that. And when I was there, I took the easy route out, took Duramine.
Oh yeah.
I did some workouts at home, went for a couple of runs, put in some work, starved myself. Things like that, it wasn't healthy, it wasn't good, it wasn't the right way, and it didn't keep it off. And that's the problem. I think that a lot of people think that you can jump on, do it quick ways.
It's just going to be the fix instead of the tool.
Yeah, no, it was just a tool, but I didn't use it properly. Right. So, I lost a bit of weight. I then moved back to Brisbane, and then that's when we rekindled, and I joined the gym just to talk to him, like I said in the last podcast. But he went off to Japan, and I got into counting my calories, and that's when things really hit off for me, I was like, whoa, like what I put in actually matters, and I was not eating enough. So I was looking at what I was eating, and what I was meant to be eating was like a child's bloody, And so I started actually counting them, and by the time he came back from Japan, I think I had lost like 6 or so kilos.
That's right. You put how many
in like
calories
3
did you put
weeks.
yourself on?
Not
It was
a
lower.
good amount, but I wasn't
14,
moving.
1500.
I was, something like that. But I wasn't I wasn't training. I was in the apartment being lazy, and like I wasn't having any exertion of energy. So everything I was eating was just, that's it.
Yeah. It's funny though, like lots of people actually get into the gym without understanding the nutrition or macros and macros.
I went the other way around.
Kind of thing first. So like, you actually kind of like did that in a, well, lo and behold, looking now, like, if you learn about the food and stuff first, then you go into the gym, you see the byproduct of what you eat in weight loss or weight gain, however it is, whatever's
muscle
personal
gain,
to you.
whatever.
Yeah. If you learn that first, I think those first steps back into the gym or into the gym become a little bit more scientifically understood.
Yeah. I mean, I trained here and there, nothing consistent still for ages. And then COVID hit, and that's when Eli moved in, and that's what he was talking about when he gained the weight through COVID, whereas
we went like this. This is Melitza. This was Eli.
Yeah.
I went to Japan, and man, I drank all the beer that was there. Every beer. I ate every
ramen.
every cereal. I just ate, man. I came back at so I was averagely sitting at about 82. Good weight for my height and things. Actually a little bit heavier, but there was a good amount of muscle behind me. And then I got fully out of my habits, and you'll hear us talk in the future about habits multiple times. Like that's the foundation of how you live. Your habits. Like are you. Yeah. So anyway, they all distorted, and I came back, and I found it really hard to even go to the gym maybe once or twice after I came back. And then a week later, COVID lockdown. We lived
Yeah,
together.
well, locked down. We
Yeah.
couldn't really go to the gym.
And all
Yeah.
Melissa wanted to do was love me, and she's Serbian, so all they do, like how they show their love, is feed
I
you
fed him a lot. Like, I don't know if people
chips.
really know, but I cook really well. I cook a lot of Serbian
Hmm.
dishes, and our food's quite hearty. And I mean, it's not unhealthy, but when all you're doing is eating, it's not really a good thing for you.
Yeah, and it's funny. I swear, man. Like when you know that if you're eating too much, and you're telling your body, your mind's like, "Oh, you're eating too much." You put that fat on. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like you watch people who don't have intent around what they eat, and quite often, this has been quite frivolous and saying, I'm just being open. Like some people can just go ahead and eat whatever they want, and nothing really happens. But it's funny. I swear to God, when you have the intent, you understand that okay, I'm putting too much into my
Yeah.
body, and you receive that in your mind. Your body literally just goes. At least that's what happened to me.
That's an awful sound effect.
You like that sound effect?
But also it's not even just that. Like you can put a lot in your body as long as you're exerting that energy. But we weren't. We were being couch potatoes. And the exercise we were doing is no exercise. Literally.
My exercise was on my thumbs. I got really good at COD.
And I got good at puzzles.
I actually, it's a funny story.
No.
Let's segue to that real quick. Funny story. Picture yourself, lockdown, new couple, living together, and all we're doing is like puzzles and playing COD and watching movies. Even Melissa got alright at COD actually. Oh, we bought a puppy and we started training her. Anyway, like when you finish COD and like you've got that time in between both games and then it loads and it goes.
But you
into,
want to be real quick.
yeah. So we've got an L-shaped couch, right? And there's this puzzle just sitting on the couch. Shouldn't have been on the couch in the first place. But like,
The puzzle box. It was a puzzle box on the couch.
yeah, puzzle box. But yeah, I jumped over and went outside to have a little sneaky puff. And then I heard through my headphones and like could see the TV like things were starting to load back. So I thought I'd be like sprightly and do a little
No.
ninja jump and like over the couch. And as I did, I kind of put my foot down and the puzzle pieces just went.
I literally wanted to kill him. But you know what he did? He put his headphones back on. He got on the speaker to everyone that was playing. He goes, guys, help me. She's going to kill me. Like, I was just shook. I was shook. He is so lucky that we didn't lose any pieces in that
No,
whole
we
debacle.
did. No, that's the catalyst. We lost
No,
that one
I
piece.
found it.
Oh,
No, I found it.
I think a
I
while
think
later.
I let you keep knowing that we lost it.
Rude.
Oops. But, you know.
The truth be told, huh?
Oopsies.
Back to the weight loss, weight gain type of thing, and look, keep listening because things really did turn around for us, especially as of recently. But yeah, getting back to that whole like COVID really stuffed up my habits, and yeah, just I kind of spiraled from there.
Snacked. A lot of snacks, you know,
Yeah,
chippies.
yeah.
Packets of chips, and it was both of us. It wasn't just you. I think I was just quite lucky that like I didn't react as bad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
it
think-
was tough.
And so during COVID, I got offered the role as World Gym Maroochydore general manager. So we were living in if you know Brisbane and Sunshine Coast in
Upper
like
Mount
kind of central Queensland area. We were living in Upper Mount Gravatt, and we got offered the job. I got offered the job in Maroochydore, and COVID lockdown was what for Queensland 2.5, 3 months.
I don't remember.
Something around then. So got offered the role at about in around March, and then by kind of April, May, I think lockdowns opened, and we were able to open gyms back to like a very limited amount of people. So it started that role up at World Gym Maroochydore, and I weighed myself at the end of COVID, and I was 98 kilo. So I started as a manager at this incredible gym with these beautiful, hey puppy, with these beautiful people that they had huge followings. Like Emily Kate had a massive following. Frank had a huge following.
Yeah.
Jesse, like I was going into this new realm of the gym, industry, in the fitness industry, with all these kind of like social media, like almost semi-famous type people. So that was quite intimidating, and I had put on weight, and that kind of feeling, it just stayed around for many years actually, as in that role. Changed over to Fitness Cartel, and at my peak, I got to 113 kg of fat. So at home and things, I was still just smashing macas. We were doing all sorts, leading a really good team, and just not living the life. Melissa was though.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I was.
Should get away with eating the macas and stuff on the weekend.
Yeah, here and there. But I think that I really honed in because I never got to experience, being able to train and, focusing on me. Yeah. I joined up to like a program. So it was Bodies by Rachel then.
That's
It was
right,
Moves
yep.
by Move With Us Now.
Shout out.
And honestly,
Weapon.
it changed my life
Yeah.
fully. We were very lucky by then we got a home set up. So I started training at home because we were still on quite some restrictions.
Yeah.
And I was working from home, so it was easier for me to train at home. And Eli, this is when we lived in North Lakes, and Eli was traveling to and from Sunshine Coast. So I honed in, and I did 8-week challenge after 8-week challenge, and honestly the results I saw were actually incredible. I'd never seen my body go through all of that before. It was a really big mental task as well, actually counting my calories properly, feeding myself more food than I've ever eaten before, but still dropping weight, building muscle, things like that. So it was quite wild to see and do. But yeah, as I was kind of toning up, and I said toning up, building muscle and getting leaner, Eli was unfortunately not implementing enough habits. And I think, we probably could have done better then to make sure we were both implementing these habits and not just one of us. But, we learned from all of that. And then Eli did start.
I wasn't not training.
You were training.
I was
yeah.
training.
You just
Just
eating.
the consistency was different.
Yeah.
I was stressed. Didn't say I was stressed. Remember, actually, that's another little segue. I used to say, I don't believe in stress.
Stress is all a part of blah, blah,
Causes
blah.
cortisol, man, and cortisol's huge.
not
I
good
don't
for you.
know, like, I didn't feel like I was stressed. I was loving it. It was a positive stress. I loved everything to do with that job, and that career, and where it's taken me now. But in terms of like where I was with my weight, I was really unhappy, and it just kind of ate away at me. But at the same time, I was so happy and proud because I was watching my partner have a big change in heart and things. And then we were blessed with the beautiful news of our baby girl, Katia.
Just before I got pregnant, though, I'd just like to add, I actually got to the lean.
That's right.
The thing was, I finally got to like my leaners. I was killing it. I was like, hell yes, I'm loving my body. I love what I look like. Rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
You're pregnant. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, this is great. I was keen as. I was actually so excited. We were keen. I obviously knew I was going to put on weight while being pregnant, but I did have this image in my head of being like this pregnant goddess of this nice big belly and nothing else. I just thought I'd wear it so well. Bum, 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 bum.
Hardest pregnancy.
It
Hats
was
off
not
to you.
great.
Yeah, she got hit with the shit stick with that one.
That's another story.
She did look beautiful in my eyes, pregnant, and she was holding my child. So, but it's what happens throughout then and then afterwards for her, fitness wise, mentality wise, and becoming parents. Just kind of, it brings this whole new level. And if you're not a parent, you won't understand this, but it makes you completely selfless. And when I say you won't understand this, you can try and fathom what it feels like to be a parent.
As much as you want.
And you can talk to people and be like, yeah, I think, as I did, yeah, I think I can imagine what it's going to feel like. You don't until you have that child. You become this completely, well, in my case, like selfless person who wants to think of like everything that you're doing, how it's going to affect them. And I looked at my habits in fitness, and during her pregnancy is when I turned on the dial to sort things back out. So fast forward to, we've had Katia. You've gone through your traumatic pregnancy and birthing and did an amazing job.
Yeah. I think you just touching on that selflessness
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah.
I mean, you become selfless, but I think you also become selfish as well.
Yeah.
Because you
Healthy
then
selfish.
yeah, a healthy level of selfish
Mm-hmm.
where I literally switched it in my brain. I was like, if I do not look after my body, how am I going to keep up with this child?
Yeah.
How am I going to be the best version I can be of myself if I do not look after myself?
Yeah. So encouraging new parents out there, and this is a perfect segue into what we said we really wanted to talk about actually, is like when you are in a relationship and you have these things going on in your mind about what's going on for you, I can guarantee your partner's thinking about it too. So we made some non-negotiables as to what we were going to
Yeah.
do to look after ourselves and really had each other's back. Sometimes it was hard to hear, sometimes it was beautiful to hear, but we just said, hey, this is what we're going to do. These are the calories
Yeah.
we're going to put out. And we started speaking to someone who's now very special in our lives. And we told that person our goals. And
I did the 8-week challenge before.
oh, you did the 8-week challenge.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, that's right. Sorry.
Actually, rewind.
Skipping timelines.
Eli
Yeah.
and his timelines. He's not very good at timelines, I think. Anyways, I finally got to 10 weeks postpartum and I could finally move again. And by this stage, I was about, I think it was like 26 kilos heavier than I usually am, which is a lot for me. I've never been that size. And so, you know, it's not always about your weight, but in this situation, it really was for me. And I felt uncomfortable. I wasn't happy with what I looked like or anything like that. So it was really difficult. And I was like, you know what? How am I going to get back in here? So I started the 8-week challenge at Fitness Cartel Maroochydore to get back in. I had a great trainer for that. He was great for the purpose I needed. It was Callum, and he's the PT manager there. And honestly, what he did was just really, he was there. He pushed me. There was no fluffy. There was no, oh, but you've just come out of having a baby. There's none of that shit.
Shout out to Callum. You're a legend, bro.
I didn't want any of that. I
Yeah.
wanted someone who was like, you know what? This is what you need to eat. This is what you need to do. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
And the results were bloody great.
Cal, you're a weapon, bro. Massive support at the start as well. And I absolutely loved working directly with you as a personal training manager.
Yeah.
Knowing that you had my partner's back and then my back professionally as well. Like that goes beyond words. So if you're listening, bro, big shout out to you. And yeah, Melissa absolutely killed the 8-week challenge. Was that the one you placed?
Oh, yeah. I got, oh my God, I forgot what it was called. The Legend?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got an award. I was like, yay.
So smashed it, and at the same time, I was training hard with Mr. Little Frank, and yeah, it had the bro Jesse was my PT before then, and I had made some progress with him as well. Switched out with Frank, and we really honed in, and I got down skipping. You know, maybe 6 months down the track, I got down to like 95-ish.
Yeah, and that was a big achievement.
Yeah.
Big.
Goal was 85 to get back to where I was
Yeah.
pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I don't know if now I'm like scared to tell the story because I'm not going to hit the timelines properly. When did you start training with Mr. Little Frank?
I finished 8-week challenge. I continued training with Callum for a little while. And then I think it was March 2023.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, March 2023.
Yeah.
So almost a year ago.
Where were you at physically, like numbers and what?
I was at about, I was still sitting at about 79 kilos
Okay.
or so. I had already lost like 6 or so. So I was nowhere near where I wanted to be yet, but the progress was progress and I was happy with that. So when I started with him,
Hold the line. I've got something right there.
What?
You went back to progress was progress, but you were happy about that.
Yeah, I was happy with
Yeah.
progressing, but
Yeah.
I wasn't happy with
Yeah.
what I looked like yet.
Yeah. But I've got a really big thing that pops to mind when you talk about that. So, you know, this is said multiple times. You probably heard me talk about affirmations multiple times. When you're taking strides towards your goal,
Yeah.
reaffirm that those strides are working. Like, don't get down in the dumps about the thing that you haven't achieved yet, but be aware of the things you're achieving along the way. Because, like, you look back now, as we're talking about the story, like, you look back at those small wins, and they actually feel just as rewarding as
Yeah.
the actual goals that we've hit.
Definitely. I
And
think so.
when you can remind yourself of those, take those wins, and say to yourself, hey, I'm even able to be grateful for these, that just, it propels you forward. And just being self-aware, I think, of the journey. That's a massive takeaway here. So
Yeah.
write that one down, okay, guys?
Not if you're driving and listening to this. But no, I definitely think that people really take for granted like the progress that you do make. You know, it's okay to not be happy exactly with where you're at, as long as you can acknowledge and be grateful for what you've done and how much you've achieved.
Yeah.
And the old me would never have been speaking like this. I think the old me was really stuck in like, nah, I have to reach this goal. It's not good enough till I reach this goal. And I think after having a baby and realizing how much I can do, and how much a mindset is important. Like if I want to raise her the way that, you know, I want her to grow and be happy and respect herself. And if I'm not respecting myself, then how is she going to do that?
Yeah.
So
Huge,
I think I changed my outlook on life a lot.
I think that's
yeah.
also a byproduct of health and fitness.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know, it does help the mind. Like that's majority of why kind of I stepped away from the fitness role is because I have a passion for the mind and passion for people. And what I was seeing in the industry was multiple people coming into the gym, working on their health and fitness, working on their physicality, for the reason that they actually needed something for their mind. And also working with a bunch of people who were in there, like, there's like this stigma in the industry, like you're gonna go to this gym and there's gonna be these big meatheads there that like just scare the shit out of you. Gym people are honestly, a lot of people are the nicest people, like legit, like
yeah.
because they've done things to work on their own personal life. They've disciplined themselves. They've put in the effort. They've put in the habits, and the byproduct of putting in the effort and putting in the habits in the gym is that your mind starts to see the wins, and then you start thinking of mindfulness. So for me, like I've left the industry and the big corp to go work on something called Trinity Treats, and we're working together to put this all into ACT, which is looking after your mobility, your strength, your mindset, and your nutrition, but mainly mindset. And I think we have seen the fruits of our labor within the gym when it comes to our own mindset. Yes, fruit of our own labor in the gym. Yes. But it's especially true in your life as well. Hey, babe. Like, come miles, which is amazing. It's great. So yeah, let's get back onto the timeline and as to where we are here.
Yeah, I started training with Frank. I
March 2023. Can remember that
last
one?
year. And I think that, you know, we have our goals, which I will share eventually. But you know, it was all about doing what we needed to do, and he's a great coach, and I've made a lot of progress. And I finally started to feel happy within my skin again. And Eli was making his progress, and kind of we started to really knuckle down. I think nutrition was something that I am good at. I'm really good at saying no and really sticking to my plan.
I'm not.
Whereas Eli is not as great, we will say. But I think it's okay if I am better at that, because I can help him on that way. But he's gotten heaps better, and you know, we prep together. We make sure that we have our meals and things like that, and having a coach really helped. I think
I kind of flowed through my weight loss through 2023 until the end of 2023, and was happy that I was gradually losing the weight and becoming like less stressed and all that, and seeing small wins and being happy. Because I had already lost a considerable amount of weight, from 113 to about 95, holding there. And by the end of 2023, we're sitting at 90 to 92, wavering around that. And but yeah, it was that, you know, Melissa was extremely tight on her macros. And look, we'd still eat what whatever the fuck we wanted on like a weekend or whatever, and she would
For
add it.
yourself.
Yeah, no, she would add it.
No, don't dob me in. I feel like you're dobbing me in. No, honestly though, Eli wasn't tracking as much because he didn't feel the need to, and he really didn't. He was quite intuitive. For once though, I've really needed the structure. I needed structure to be able to stick to it.
And I don't want to just keep harping on about myself. Emotionally though, I needed to work on understanding food without the calories.
Yes.
Because I was an emotional eater, so I had some actually like shit that I had to deal with in terms of like why was I eating those things? Why did it make me feel comfortable? You know, like I had probably addiction issues to different dopamine releases of food. Eating shit when I was hungover after partying like all through my 20s, party, and then just eat crap on the Sunday. And my body could deal with it, but I was getting older and it was holding it. And drinking and alcohol was secret calories, man. So I had to kind of, I really wanted to tune out of the counting the calories so heavily to understanding portions, understanding the feeling of nutrition, understanding how food made me feel internally, externally, and still trying to keep, and every now and again would log the odd thing on my MyFitnessPal to see kind of what I've been eating generally, but trying to stay intuitively around the 2,500 calories, you know, that's where I was sitting. And I tried to heal my brain and heal my my habits, and with the support of Frank and with the support of Melitza and many other friends within the gym, I was able to do that. But then had to hone in, and after I'd healed that part of me. So thank you, babe, with the help of that.
So proud of you.
Huge.
I think and you had that overeating aspect issue, whereas I was on the other scale of it, where I could not eat till 4 p.m.
Here's a really polarizing difference as well, is that you were brought up where you didn't have to eat everything on your plate.
Somewhat, yeah.
Right? I think in terms of like kind of foundationally brought up, like with your family, lots of food was made. There was plenty in terms of food. Like your mum created food, like lots of food out of the little that you guys had, right?
Yeah, there was always, you know, our food and quite hearty and things like that.
Hearty
but we
food.
weren't. When I was younger, yes, obviously we were told like, you know, you got to eat your food, make sure you eat enough. But when I started, you know, being a teenager and things like that, growing up, like it wasn't forced down my throat. Like I wasn't like, oh my God, you can't throw any of that food away, because I don't know why, we're just quite different there.
Yeah. Whereas I had to like finish everything on your plate.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Did you dish your own plate?
Oh, as I got older, like 8, 9, 10 kind of onwards and things. I don't know. Like, and then I just like, I would finish other people's food. And like, I didn't like to see
plate picker.
Yeah, I didn't like to see food go to waste and like, just bad things like that. And man, like I was a stoner. Like I would eat everything in fucking sight, man. Like I would just eat and eat. And so I had different things that I had to really work on and break down. So, but you were able to be more mature with your food and understand like, okay, if I'm going to put X, Y, Z on my plate, I know it's going to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah. I think I got to that. Yes. But yeah, like I was saying, I didn't find the need to eat. I was like, I'm too busy. So that also come from my finance background, where I would work in brokerages and car yards where I did not have time to eat. So I just didn't eat. If you were eating, it didn't matter, like you'd get interrupted, whatnot. It does not matter. You don't get to eat sometimes. So I just got to a point where I'd get to like 2, 3 o'clock and not eat.
Yeah.
And I needed to fix that, and counting my calories.
Fasting without knowing.
Yeah, fasting without knowing. I'd get to 4 o'clock while I'm counting my calories and be like, oh my God, I have 1,600 calories to eat before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Like it's stressful. So that's where counting my calories helped me a lot in regards to actually, you know, eating a little bit in the morning. I don't still really have breakfast till 10.
Yeah.
But for me, that's a big difference from eating at 4 p.m. to 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's nice. It helps.
I think, man, like calories are a thing that need to be taught early in early school. Like we learn about food in school. I swear I don't recall learning about calories in cooking class or hospitality class. Like I don't recall knowing what a calorie was until like I was I don't know,
I was like
made aware of it.
26.
Like honestly, like people need to understand like where your limit is. Like if you're in a calorie deficit, that is the byproduct for weight loss. That's it. There is no other reason. You can eat healthy foods, but if those healthy foods are over your calories, you're gonna put on motherfucking weight. But if you're not, like, and everyone has this calorie deficit, calorie excess, and so if we learn that
Yeah.
and knew that, like, man,
I think
change the world.
they only just took out BMI from the language used at schools.
Right.
Because all we were raised on, it was BMI, and that was the important
Body mass
factor.
index.
Yeah, and that was so unhealthy because your body mass index, it's a load of crap.
Mm-hmm.
If you disagree, cool, but I really don't care. um, but I think there's such a stigma around calories, and that is why I think at schools we definitely don't talk about it. People can take the information about calories and go the wrong way.
Just like
you
anything.
need to be educated. You can't just be like, oh, I can eat less calories and lose
Yeah,
weight.
right. Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah.
I'll continue. And this is where those eating disorders can come from. And
course.
that's a whole nother topic that obviously we aren't qualified to delve into. But, it's nice to know where you sit out, your maintenance and deficits, understanding that so that you can understand how your body works.
And the amount of conversations we've had with people
Yeah.
about calories, and that they just don't know.
Yeah.
And like
It's kind of sad.
it's like spread, like if you understand calories, try and talk to someone about understanding calories,
It
because
doesn't-
it
yeah.
helps their lives. I think though there is definitely, and you can see the movement again back around like eating nutritionally, eating healthy, eating things that taste
yeah.
good naturally, like not eating
Processed.
processed foods. And there's a huge movement there. There's a huge enlightenment in terms of like, what am I eating from the grocer? Should I be getting things locally? Like there's just, I feel, at least in our circles, or maybe in the Sunshine Coast, people
Yeah.
are just a lot more mindful out here. And it's great to be around. So I
Yeah.
think taking a pinch of everything, bit of calories, bit of nutrients, understanding what makes you feel good,
Yeah.
as well as what fuels your body and where your happy medium is. There's so much to be learnt there. And if you're thinking about wanting to lose weight or put weight on or anything, I think that's just a really nice, easy way to segue in, is like just download MyFitnessPal and just scan what you're eating for the
Yeah.
first like 3
There's
weeks with no goal.
Yeah, there's so many people out there that are incredible who like provide free spreadsheets and free information. Like, for example, Tyson, the trainer.
Weapon.
He is an absolute weapon, and he's so supportive, and not only of people that are at his clients, but he's commented how well I've done, and he doesn't really know me, but
Yeah.
he provides so many free tips and things to learn. And if you're gonna go on social media, why don't you follow people that are actually providing content that can help?
your algorithm to work for you
change
guys.
your algorithm. Scroll all you want if you want to, but try and change those algorithms. Try and change it to serve you, to find
Yes.
people that
My
give
God,
you
there's
hope.
a whole
And
episode we could
that's
do.
a whole other episode, which we'll
100%.
definitely be doing.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, it's just a bit of a tangent, but he's not the only. There's so many people.
Yeah.
Find them. Find your people that you can follow and be-
Relatable content as
Yeah.
well, like stuff that's not like try hard or anything. Like Tyson the Trainer, just like, he's real,
spit some serious facts.
And
You
he-
might get offended once or twice.
which is good. Get offended.
I felt personally
go and
attacked
get
a few
offended
times.
because it helps. Like all this, like, oh, I need to like, no, don't offend people. Honestly, get offended by things, because things
Yeah.
that offend you make you question why it offended you, and most of the time it's because your ego needs a check. And then
Yes.
from there, you can look at yourself and be like, what opportunity could I have from here? And it will help you grow. So
Yeah.
twist that shit up and find things that challenge you. But yeah, shout out shout out to Tyson the Trainer, and people who have similar content to him. You guys
Yeah.
are helping multiple people
For free.
for free. Let's
Like, come on, guys. It's out there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can't push people to do this stuff, We all talk about, everyone needs to be accepted and rah, rah, and that's great. But living
Yeah.
a healthy lifestyle should not be something that we should shy away from. And that's what really grinds my gears.
Yeah.
Is that people are like, oh, you can't push that. I'm like, yes, no, that's right. You can't. But if there's all this information out there, go and access it. You need to take the steps yourself too.
What's
That's
wrong
the
with
thing.
feeling good?
Nothing.
And how do you feel good?
I feel good when I go to the gym
Right.
and fuel my body.
But like, it's scientifically proven.
Yeah.
as well. Like you cannot deny the fact that when you go to the gym or you eat something good, you have you have great endorphins released
Yeah.
into your body, and like you can't escape the science. And when you do start doing things, you put emotion, energy in motion, things come back to you, and you learn
Yeah.
so much.
I honestly, like, coming from someone who I used to look at the gym people and be like, ugh, like, literally, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I used to be like, these people are so self-obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
These people, like, whatever. I'll never, like, get into that. But I was really just angry with myself.
Yeah,
I
well,
was truly probably just angry at the fact that I wasn't allowed to have that lifestyle
wow,
and do those things.
that's
But
huge. That's going to help a lot of people, babe.
I think that if you have that mentality and you look at these people, is it jealousy?
Mm.
Are you actually wanting to start those things and you don't feel like you can? Just remind yourself that you can, because we all come from somewhere, and it's not always luck. Look, there's genetics. Genetics are genetics. Some people genuinely have good genetics.
Yeah.
But at some point, they're putting
You
in the
guys suck.
effort.
No.
At some point, people put in the effort, and that's the thing. And like, if I hear you're lucky one more time, I think I'm going to lose my shit.
Oh man.
Because I've got to where I've got to because I've literally counted every meal that I've eaten, apart from a handful.
Right.
I've trained all the time. I fit it in. We do this together, and we've made this work.
Yeah.
So, one thing to keep mindful of is do not tell someone, especially after they've lost a bunch of weight, or you don't know, or they've just had a baby, that they're lucky that they've looking the way they are.
Right.
Because that, you have no idea. It's completely devaluing all the work they've put in.
Yeah, it's a hard
Check
one.
yourself.
Yeah, check yourself. Yeah, okay. Man, that was powerful. Where are we at timeline?
We got a bit woo-woo.
No, it's good, powerful stuff. Where are we at timeline? Where were we
I
at?
think-
End of 2023.
Let's just skip to there. Look, we obviously worked on ourselves, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think the deep stuff was that we learned a lot about each
Yeah.
other, and we had each other's back. We were accountable to each other, and if
so
you're in a
proud.
partnership and you are struggling with your own personal weight loss, share it with your partner and
Yeah.
help, and ask for help, because it's so it helps you build relationship. It helps you build your person, yourself. And yeah, it just puts it puts some foundation into your relationship as well, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But
I think, since you're on the topic of relationships, I think we obviously touched on the fact that we would talk about the fact that how we made it work. How do we do this? How do we do this with a 1-year-old?
Yeah.
How do we make it work? How do we have time? How do we, because everyone's going to say, oh, I don't have time. I have a child. I can't. We have a
Yeah.
kid. We don't sleep. We this, we that.
yeah.
They're all sorry to say excuses.
And the fact of the matter is that when you put these plans in place and you're prepping food, and you're actually so much more prepared for that
more-
lifestyle.
Yeah, 100%. And I think
Like, we didn't have cooking time because we were prepped.
I didn't have to cook. I chucked it in the
We
microwave. It was
spent
great.
that time with our daughter.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that what really helps is we had that discussion
Mm-hmm.
when we both got to a point where we were like, you know what? I know we're going to gym here or there. We're prepping our foods. We're counting our calories.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Structure.
what we want to
Consistency.
do. We need to be consistent. We had that discussion. And to all the people out there who are in a relationship, you need to have the discussion, and you need to agree that your health and your fitness are no longer a negotiable.
Yeah.
So they are now a non-negotiable. You cannot get mad at your partner for going to the gym
Yeah.
or for eating their prepped meals because you want takeout.
Yeah.
That is no longer acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think that's where we've reached the point of I'm going to the gym, and that's that. It doesn't matter.
And it doesn't mean to say, like, or take away from the fact that it was still incredibly hard.
Yeah,
and testing,
100%.
But we welcomed those tests.
Yeah.
And we had to be there for each other when someone was weak. And quite often we'd be weak together. And we would go get a mass amount of KFC, but we just wouldn't eat for the rest of the day. No.
Yeah.
But, we'd try and count things in or include stuff. And
Yeah.
remembering that we were on a little bit of a different spectrum as to actually counting it. But like I was saying earlier, for myself, wasn't specifically counting, but was very intentional about how much was going in.
How you feel.
And I was able to kind of, measure because I knew she was measuring. and we
Yes.
talked about what was going into our bodies, and we prepped our food
Yeah.
a week out or midweek, and we actually prepped Katya's food as well, like, or knew
Yeah.
what she was going to eat. So it gave us structure in our parenting. It gave us structure in our lives. It gave us foundation in our lives. It gave us stuff to look forward to.
yeah.
It gave us things to be proud of each other in. Like, it gave us so much, and that reciprocation came through in who we became as people and are continuing to become as people.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think I've said it before in the same. Oh my God, I can't speak English. I said it before. Like, how are we gonna raise our daughter
Yeah.
to look after herself if we can't look after ourselves? If I'm not eating healthy food, how can I expect her to eat healthy food?
Yeah.
If I'm not eating with intent and making sure I fuel my body so that I can function, how am I going to be a good parent?
Yeah.
And
No
how
more
is
of this-
Eli going to be a good parent?
Yeah. No
If-
more of this parenting of, like, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, no,
Nah,
that's
man.
right out the
That's
fucking
bullshit.
window.
Like,
honestly.
what are we in the 90s? None of that
What
shit
are we in the
anymore.
90s?
You cannot say that.
No.
No.
But, you know, I'm pretty grateful. I have a great partner. Eli's great. He's hands-on with Katya. We are both almost 50-50. The only reason I don't say 50-50 is because, like, there's always a bloody, what are they called? Parent. Default parent. There's always a default parent. It's just what happens. And sometimes it used to be you. It used to be Eli. He was the default parent, and now it's me because I'm more home than he is, and it does make it harder. But still, our goals are still the same. And you know, if Eli gets to go to the gym one day and I don't, we ensure that I go the next day. And that's how you have to work together, and that's how you make it work in a partnership. You have to agree to help each other and work together, and not be mad at each other for wanting to do the best, because in the end, the better we feel individually, the better we'll work together, and the better we can raise our children.
Yeah. So it's all good and great for people who are in relationships to have that person to bounce off. But if you're single, there's a funny stat that I learned when I was selling memberships, like just doing the membership sales, not in any leadership role or anything like that. Which was that you're 80% more likely to hit your goals if you're doing it with a friend or family member.
Yeah.
And so, like, it was number one, great information to have as a membership salesman trying to get a second sale and, like, you know,
didn't try to send mine.
Yeah.
So
try and double up that membership. Like,
you
who
didn't try to
else
do
can
that.
you bring? But that was a fact as well. And, you know, I did see a lot more people, like, hitting their goals if they were training with a friend or family member, because you were able to keep each other accountable. And that accountability to each other, it overrides that devil inside your mind that says you can't do it. You're not going to go to the gym. Oh, just stay home tonight. You're too tired. Like, no. That person's going to call you and be like, yeah, we're still meeting at 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
I don't want to let you down.
Find
That person.
9 out of 10 times, if you are just going to the gym, just going, and no one's depending on you, you cannot go easily.
Yeah.
But 9 out of 10 times, if you have a friend waiting for you, you're going to go.
Yeah.
Because you don't
Unless
want to
you're a shit
disappoint
cunt.
them.
And you don't go.
Oh my God. I have been that asshole. We've all been there. But, you know, I guess we have rambled on a bit, but
No.
it's important.
Yeah, it's very good. I think we've ticked the boxes there for, you know, singles and people in a relationship. Let's get back to that timeline, babe. So what? Let's call it October 2023.
Yeah, I've got to in my goals. I didn't get to where I wanted to be for what we wanted to do early this year, and that was quite hard. It was probably my worst check-in I've had. Pretty emotional. I cried. Frank gave me a nice big hug. He was probably shocked because he's like, this woman cries.
And she doesn't hug.
And I don't hug, but, you know, I'm working on that. And, you know, that was really hard, but I kicked back in. We refocused.
Yep.
And honestly, it was a blessing in disguise. I wasn't ready, I don't think. And now I'm feeling ready. I'm so proud of myself, and I'm kicking some goals. I'm kicking PBs. I'm kicking all of that. Went to a surplus. I was in a build. I've just started my cut. And honestly, I've never felt better. Strong girl Tings joined the 100 kilo club of deadlifts. So
yeah, I love it. And for me, I finally got down to 90 kilos, and I was like, man, I'm only 5 kg off.
Woo!
So I was strutting around, man. I was thinking, bro, you've lost 23 kgs, man. Like, I went and picked up a 20 kilo dumbbell at the gym, and I was like, I can't even kill this. Like, that honestly is such an incredible feeling. And so really wanted to hone in, but knew also that general Christmas, New Year's time was
Yeah.
coming. So we did our best. I wanted to just hold kind of 90, 92
Yeah.
and hone in and start counting calories again, and keep strength. And Melissa obviously had that bit of a letdown in one of the check-ins. To me, she had smashed it and was looking fantastic. So we led into like Christmas and New Year
We did good.
quite balanced, understanding what we're eating, and I came out of Christmas and New Year's still at 91 kg.
Yeah, I think I was only a kilo difference as well.
Yeah.
I think all the work we've put in,
Yeah,
all the discussions we've had with each other,
Yeah.
all the mindset things, like we worked a lot. We still
Yeah.
had fun. We still had a great time. We still enjoyed our
Yeah,
family time.
yeah.
We still enjoyed the food.
yeah,
But
definitely
we
did.
enjoyed it to a moderation, whereas
Yeah.
actually a healthy moderation where, you know,
With intent and
With intent and
understanding
understanding.
what we were doing.
and it comes with time.
Yeah, it does. It really does. You've got to really understand that your mind is in control of what you're doing, especially throughout those times. And, you know,
Mm.
not beating yourself up, knowing what kind of time you're going through, allowing yourself those breaks, you know. It's one of the hardest times to try and be consistent. But if
Yeah.
you at least have somewhat intent, 80% intent to,
Yeah.
you know, do well, you're still going to enjoy a beer, or 5, or, you know, you're still going to, you know, you're still going to eat pavlova on Christmas and not feel guilty about it. And that's what we did.
It's the guilt. The guilt really kills you guys because you get
Yeah.
guilty and then you screw up the rest of your day or the rest of your week, the rest of your month, the rest
And then
of
you
the,
make
you know,
emotional New Year's resolutions.
That's another topic.
We and
I didn't
but
have a
wait,
New Year's
but we
resolution.
didn't. I did. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of this next 5 kilos.
But that's cool. Like that's
I was
been
able
a,
to do that because I was consistent.
It's also
throughout
a
Christmas
long
and stuff.
term goal you've
True.
had.
True.
You're really just like, I'm nailing this, bitch.
Yeah, and
Me.
have and have now. So, now let's fast
So
forward
proud
to now.
of you.
84.
Honestly, I think what we should touch on real quick is you love your partner, right? So it's really hard because we both had times where we were both 20. I was 30 kilos heavier and he was 30 kilos heavier.
Yeah.
We're pretty much the same amount. And I never noticed it. I noticed it to a point, but it wasn't like I didn't love him or didn't find him attractive. I still found him extremely attractive. And I think you kind of felt the same. But inside, individually, as ourselves, we felt like shit.
Yeah.
And that's a really tough thing to deal with when your partner's like, you know, I love you regardless, but you're just like, I don't know how.
It's hard to receive love when you're not loving certain parts of yourself.
Yeah, and I think we recently delved into that together, and I was like, oh my God, is this how you felt? Because now that he's lost all this weight, I completely was shocked. I was like, oh my God, who is this sexy man? I mean, I obviously always was attracted, but I was like, damn, you know, and I was like, oh my God, is this how he felt when I was pregnant and had that weight after I had Katya? Did he still find me attractive? Obviously, just how I felt when he had the weight, and I just never understood it till now.
Yeah.
Now I understand, and I was like, oh, he wasn't talking shit.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you feel like they're talking shit like, oh, whatever, I'm gross. But they're not. They really do love you, and
Yeah.
we're here to support each other regardless. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
love
just super happy now. We're both in our really fit eras.
Fit areas with
Muscle daddy.
some real goals to kick. Yeah, like, man, I chipped away and jumped on keto, and it just reacts with my body really well.
Yes.
And didn't just do it for the weight loss. Like, I get really sniffly after bread and stuff, and like my gut gets crooked. So have done a stint of keto and trying to keep that keto up until March.
Yeah.
And because we had learnt the discipline in food and things like that, I actually needed keto for the reason to not have any room for failure in terms of, like, when you're counting calories and you're allowed every ingredient, you can quite easily be like, oh, well, I'm going to have this meal, whatever. By cutting out carbs, it indirectly cuts out fast food and shit like that. Like, and you can't fuck up because you fall out
Yeah.
of ketosis, which means that your body goes in and out of these different phases, and it just doesn't feel good, and you don't feel 100%. So, look, I've fallen out of keto, I think, twice on this whole run, but yeah, got down to 84.7 at the moment, which is amazing. And Melissa just had her best check-in that she's had ever.
Yeah.
And babe, why don't you let them know why you're doing all these check-ins and what their ultimate goal is? Is that something you want to speak on?
Oh.
Keep it a secret for now.
I think we'll touch on that another.
Okay, all right. Well, you have to.
I don't know. It's
you have
still
to
a
listen to
secret.
more episodes to
Some
find out
peop-
what she's doing.
No, some people know, but
Yeah.
I'm still keeping it to myself, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's cool.
we'll see.
That's awesome. In between all of this, in between, 2021 to here,
21 to
that's a
yeah.
huge roller coaster
Yeah.
of, health and fitness and understanding food and getting acquainted with new personal trainers who have now become some of our best friends, getting acquainted with all these people and how they've helped us in our lives. All of that is such a ride. And just know, we can quite easily talk about this now on this podcast, but 3 years.
Oh, yeah, 2.5, 3 years, yeah.
3 years of this. So this shit doesn't just happen. When you watch it on camera and we talk about this shit right now, it seems like it just happened. But it didn't.
Yes,
and
I
it
like
takes work. So
it.
take care of yourself and know it does take time. But, find those wins. In between all of this, we've launched businesses. Millets has started her own finance company. So if you need a money loan from us or anything
Money
like
loan.
that, yeah, you want a personal loan, a car loan, anything like that, she's your girl. I've started my business, Trinity Retreats. We had 3 retreats last year. Remember mindfulness, nutrition, mobility, strength. We're kicking goals there. And we're, doing things to really balance our lives as well as being parents. But again, foundationally for us,
Yeah.
and where a lot of our structure and everything comes from is taking care of number one, our health and fitness. Letting that be a representation of who we are. It tucks back into our mindfulness. It tucks back into how much we love and support each other with our
Yes.
accountability. And it shows and sets a really good impression for our daughter to see. We now even have a gym out here, and she
Yeah.
watches us pick up weights and do everything. She'll go and try and pick something up as well. And that's amazing. Those are those small, tiny
Yeah.
steps that are going to
Yeah.
pave an amazing path for her. And that's our ultimate reason and our ultimate goal. And now also to, help you guys.
If we can, touch one person, and I think that, get your hand off me. I think that, we all think, oh, I'm posting these things, or I'm doing this, I'm sharing, and I'm not going to affect anyone. But honestly, I've learned that you really do. I've had mums say to me, you really inspire me. And I honestly, that, you just can't explain what that feels like. It's incredible for someone to say you're inspiring me, and you're like, who am I?
Yeah.
I'm not what? I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
sharing
huge.
so you don't feel alone, because
Yeah.
I felt alone sometimes, and it's hard. And so, and to touch on, actually, I forgot to mention mums. You want to get back in, utilize the creches at the gyms.
Yeah.
That is one of the number one tips that we can give, honestly, is the creches. Godsends. They're incredible. FC Creche at Maroochydore, I will
Yeah.
say. Shout out to the girls there. I
Yeah,
love
shout out
them
to
so
Fitness
much. Look,
Cartel
I
for
do 2
putting-
shifts a week there. You know,
Yeah.
I love it so much. And the only reason I do it is because I love seeing the faces on the mums when they get back and they've had their hour and a half
Yeah.
to themselves. They're working on themselves. And I'm so incredibly proud of every single mum and dad that walks through that door, because it's
Yeah.
a lot of the time couples that come in, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's amazing that we can look after their children
Yeah.
and treat them amazingly, and they come back to a happy child, and they've had a great
Yeah,
time.
it's huge. Some facts around, actually, and we'll end things pretty soon, I think. But some really interesting facts that happened kind of last year and the year before within the industry. Something massive kind of happened in the Brisbane area, at least, is Good Life gyms, Good Life health clubs went and
Can we talk about that?
I'm gonna went and they got rid of all the creches,
creches.
and Fitness Cartel came up and many other gyms in fact, but big blow up and big shout out to Nathan James and TJ Groot for implementing really strong creches in their gyms. So if
Our
you're a
creche
mum
is
and you
good.
want to go out there and find a really community-based gym that does everything and has everything you need, including a creche, protein.
FCs are,
FCs are great. Fitness Cartels are great. So go and suss them out if you're a new parent and you're wanting to get back into it, or do stuff for each other. Go find your local Fitness Cartel, or for that matter, any gym that does have a creche, because it's going to help you miles by miles. Yeah, it's huge.
Kind of creates a little bit of a community. It's really nice,
Yeah.
especially because it's always, there's not that many staff in the creche.
Yeah.
So, as mums and dads, you feel safe, and your children are safe, and they're noticing. We notice.
Yeah.
And I know that the parents notice when I've lost a little bit of weight, or if I've toned up,
Yeah.
or I'm doing well on the gym floor. You know, it's beautiful. It's so nice to like have mums and dads even acknowledge the work you've done, and it goes a long way.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. So if you see a mum out there or a dad out there and you see them working hard and you
Mm.
know they have children, you know, if you think, oh my God, well done, tell them. Tell them that
Yeah.
they're doing well. Tell people they're doing
Affirmation.
well. Because sometimes people just need to hear it.
Yeah.
You know, you never know how much you can change someone's day or life.
Yeah, and when you're stepping out and helping other people, it comes back to you.
Yeah,
When you're telling other
100%.
people that they're doing well, and it's reciprocated, it's just energy and energy out. It's exactly what happens. You give people,
Yeah.
you know, affirmations, and then you're able to actually give yourself some more love by giving yourself, you know, affirmations. But then you attract affirmations your way, and it's just a rigmarole. It's
A great cycle. I think that we will have a guest next week, and
Yeah.
our guest is drum roll,
It is Frank, surname
Little Frank.
Hutchinson. He will
Shush.
tell you exactly how to say his surname.
He's both our coach,
both
and
our
I
coach.
can't wait to hear what he has to say and
I
who's
don't know
better
how
to
he's gonna
train.
fit in here. Man's like this big.
He can be between us. But also, let's end it up. Let's
Yeah.
wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Number one
Yeah.
reason why you go to the gym and why you work on yourself. What is the reason?
What is the reason? What is your why?
No, your reason.
Mine.
Your reason. Our
Whatever.
reasons. And then if you have a reason,
Let us know in
send
the
us,
comments
let
below.
us know. We'll read them out. We'll love to read a couple out
Yeah,
next
that'd
week.
be cool actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go.
What's your reason? But my reason
Go.
is self-love, giving back to myself, releasing the right endorphins, and also being a great role model for my daughter.
Yes. Amazing.
What's yours, babe?
Mine is to be the absolute best version of myself that I can be for not only myself, not only Eli, but for my daughter, and show her that you can, you know, be an incredible person and still work hard on your fitness and goals.
Yeah, love it. Absolutely. Yeah, so if you loved, you know, this whole chat, man, it was a nice long one. If you loved this whole chat, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Go
Yeah.
check us out on YouTube. Go check us out on Spotify. Watch out for the reels and the shorts that are going to come out of this as well. And thank you so much for the support that we've got so far. You can only help us get better. So please comment below, share it, you know, invite someone to the gym, talk to them about our podcast. I'm not afraid to ask for the help. Thank you so much. Thank you, babe, for being on this with me and helping us create
Together
an amazing
forever.
Together forever.
On the
And
Love Boat.
we have got a list of names. And I don't know, we'll edit up like an outro and an intro with that name.
I reckon we're
So
going to be called the Love Boat.
okay, we'll see.
Together forever on the Love Boat.
What is that song? How's that song go?
What one?
No, that's Neighbours. Thank you so much, guys. Peace and
Oh,
love.
don't cut this out.
Yeah, have
I'm so mad.
a great week.
We're going to go have a great weekend.
Peace out. Bye.
Bye.